Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's great to see you again on this wonderful October day. Welcome to the show that tells you get out your books, pull out your chairs, and join us at the table. Doing a quick introduction, starting off with, of course, my man, Mr. Michael Powell. Tell us who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael Powell, and you can find me all over the internet on my social medias, such as, Instagram, Twitter, and blah, blah, blah. They're all at Mr. Kapow, that's Mrkapao. How about you, PJ?
My name is PJ McGaw, PJ McGaw. You can find me everywhere at pj.mcgaw. And when I'm not here to this amazing show with my friend Mr. Michael Powell, I am here Wednesdays doing Edge of Legends. Be sure to tune in throughout the month of October as we're doing our series of one-shots. And they are one-shots. It seems like we're going to have almost a different cast every episode.
Hey PJ, really quick. I think it's one of those days, huh? We're gonna be all mush-mouthy.
Oh, it's gonna be a mush mouth day for sure. I woke up and I slept for okay. People in chat, you ever had that day where you've been in bed for 10 hours and you slept for 6? That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I have the coffee and the water, and let's hope I can wake up. Like I was saying, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are doing our Halloween one-shots. And if you can't watch us live, don't worry. We have them show up on our YouTube Saturdays at 10 a.m. If you need to, just type in Edge of Legends, and it's all right there. Yeah. And then Friday, of course, doing Secret. I believe we're going to be dark the next 2 weekends as we are busy working on not we as in the entire Nat20 Productions, but myself and Ryan Omega are working with a really awesome show called IndieCade. It's a big indie gaming convention online, and I will be participating at 6 in the morning on a Tuesday.
Ooh.
Oh, give me strength.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, so next Tuesday, if I'm a little out of it, that's entirely why. But without further ado, what are we talking about today? So glad you asked. We are continuing the holiday theme of Halloween, and we are discussing ancestries that are super spooky. We're going to do a deep dive into 2 ancestries, maybe 3 if we have time. We'll see how things play out, because we are going to have a character build today. Yes, we are. And right now, the 2 things we're going to be talking about are the Dhampir and the Tiefling. And we all know and love Tieflings. They're the horny boys, and we'll get to the horny boys later. But right now, the Dhampir, they are a very fun and unique ancestry to Pathfinder entirely and Paizo products tonight. But before we get into them, I feel like we should talk about what variant ancestries are and how they work, because this is very, very important. This is a very fun, cool thing that Pathfinder has released way before other books that allow for unique ancestry combinations, that has allowed for players to further go into their own unique original character, right? So variant ancestry is basically this. You take your baseline ancestry, human, orc, elf, dwarf, whatever you want to be. Right? You can even be a goblin if you're one of those meme lords. And you're that entity, but now you're also a little bit of this as well. And when you would take your first ancestry feat, instead of taking an ancestry feat from, say, let's go with elves. Instead of going with an elvish ancestry feat, you take all the basic stats of being an elf, and you take your first feat from, in this case, the Dhampir. And now you are effectively a Dhampir elf. You kind of exist as both things, but most of your ancestry feats are going to come from your Dhampir ancestry.
I kind of want to say it's like, honestly, you're a half elf, half Dhampir.
Exactly. So it's really cool. And the thing is, all the variations we're going to be talking about today, in fact, there's many more in the Advanced Player's Guide here. Please give it a check out. They're all able to combine with other things. So what's cool is that in other games, you can only be a tiefling. A tiefling is its own thing, and that's cool. That's great. Yeah. But now you have so much more versatility. Do you want to be a tiefling dwarf? Go right ahead. You could be Hellboy. You could just be the world's shortest Hellboy if you want to. So So it's very, very flexible. The Changeling as well. I think Aasimar is in this book. So if you want to be the Aasimar, just like it is in other games, but more varied. So you could be like an Aasimar rat folk. That sounds cool. You want to be a holy rat? You can go and be a holy rat.
Dude, I just thought of something. Aasimar Tengu, a celestial bird.
I love that.
Or a Aasimar Shuni. Remember, all dogs go to heaven.
Oh, I love that even better. Oh my god. I keep getting these ideas from our conversations. Like, I want to do an All Dogs Go to Heaven one shot where everyone is a Shuni Azamar and they're just trying to get like some MacGuffin from this pit bull who's part tiefling.
But yeah, there's a lot of variations, and honestly, compared to some other game systems, I actually prefer this versatile heritage over it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is what's so great about what Pathfinder is doing, because now what we're seeing on the subtle sly is that other game companies are now catching up to this base mechanic that they've been playing with for like at least 1 year in the beta or in the playtest, and like at least 1 year in execution now. They're catching up to that, where they have already been perfecting this and allowing players to do this. So if you want to really challenge yourself in character creation, you can find whatever fun combinations of classes and ancestries, hell, genders, whatever you want. Go for it. Pardon me, that's my coffee and my banana making me burp. Oh, and I see Malice is in the chat. Woo!
Hey, what's up, Malice?
Good to see
and
you, Malice.
Maynard, too. Maynard, what's up, man? Holy rap folk, you were gone too long in the midnight sea.
Oh, don't you know what I mean? I think he's quoting Holy Diver. Okay, so without further hype and ado, let's get into the spoopy ancestries of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, starting with, of course, the Dhampir. Do you want to read the fluff, or should I?
How about you take the first one? I'll take the second.
Okay, let me get some coffee to get rid of all the saliva and mush in my mouth. Ah, man. Washing that around my teeth was a bad idea. Anyway. Many call vampires the children of the night, but it is Dhampirs who can truly claim that title. Those mortal offspring of vampire walk the line between life and undeath, not just physiologically, but also in their social standing, temperament, and world view. If you want me to continue on, it says the circumstances surrounding a Dhampir's birth are rare, complex, and often shrouded in horrific rumors, stoked by societal revulsion at the idea of an undead monstrosity producing mortal offspring. Some Dhampirs are the children of one mortal, one vampiric parent, while others are born to those who were turned into vampires while pregnant. Blade. Still, others rise from dark rituals or other supernatural influences that impose a vampiric curse onto a mortal infant. The life of a Dhampir is often difficult. Few vampiric parents have the time or inclination to raise a mortal child, while mortal communities find a Dhampir's sallow flesh, piercing eyes, and unnerving presence off-putting at best. Despite being living creatures, this is important, living creatures, Dhampirs respond to positive and negative energy as if they were undead. So now you're playing on hard mode. Making them unwelcome in many holy communities and often driving them toward necromantic arts. Dhampirs are not immortal, but age far more slowly than most mortals, with a lifespan similar to that of an elf. Dhampirs have difficulty producing children of their own, and those few born to a Dhampir are never Dhampirs themselves. Never. Remember that. A Dhampir generally resembles a member of their non-vampire parents' ancestry with a ghostly pallor and eyes so light it seems that they have only pinpoint pupils and no iris. All Dhampirs have elongated incisors, aren't there? Some nearly as long as those of a true vampire, while many command grace, beauty, and charm despite their unsettling appearance. So it is important to remember that if you are, like, let's say a kobold Dhampir, that would be interesting to say. If you see that, then you have to understand that this guy is probably going to try to be to limit their exposure to healing magics because it could hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing going into this class or this ancestry is that healing magics now count against you. So something to consider. What you gain. You gain the Dhampir trait in addition to the traits of your ancestry. You have the negative healing ability, which means you are harmed by positive damage and healed by negative effects as if you were undead. You also gain low light vision, or you gain dark vision if you already had low light vision. And you can choose from Dhampir feats and feats from your ancestry whenever you gain an ancestry feat. So you're not just getting the opportunity to pull from a hyper rare, specific pool of powerful ancestry feats. You're also getting more bonuses on top of everything your other ancestry would already give you out the gate. Mm-hmm. So this can be a fun, powerful thing, but also keep in mind with Dhampir, they are damaged, I should say, by healing spells. So you gotta be very careful.
Yeah, but also this could be also kind of a creative workaround, especially if you have a spell that's maybe negative damage that does an AoE effect. Send in the Dhampir. He'll heal up if anything during that AoE effect, negative energy AoE effect, right?
Absolutely. If you're fighting that necromancer, you get your closest Dhampir friend and you throw them at the necromancer and just be like, eat his magic. Mm-hmm. Eat their magic. You can do it.
And what's also kind of cool about the Dhampir, because I'm guessing we're going to go into the feat list next, right, PJ?
Yes.
The cool thing about the Dhampir is they're not necessarily pigeonholed into just, they're part vampire. What's really cool about it is how do I say this? That you can use different vampires in mythology to build your own Dhampir. You could go for the whole Nosferatu or Bram Stoker's Dracula. Mm-hmm. You pretty much have the freedom to kind of create the Dhampir you want.
Yeah. Now, it's also good to remember, like, at least from all the little quick fluff I read, is that you're not a full vampire. Mm-hmm. You are very much a bastard sire to some degree, whether it's by a magical ritual, whatever story or plot reason you want to come up with. You will never be Strahd. Mm-hmm. You will never be Dracula from Castlevania. You will never be that power deeply centric and rooted into evil magic.
You might be Alucard, though. You might end up being Alucard.
You could. Maybe. I think Alucard's like a level 20 human Dhampir. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. But also I want to say never because I'm pretty sure a Dhampir could still be transformed to a full vampire, but that's also up to A, your DM, and B, the circumstances of that situation.
Maybe, but I think, well, we'll say this and we'll go on to the feats. The problem about being transformed into a full vampire is that it comes with mechanical benefits that are insane. Mm-hmm. So I think if you are going to argue about turning from a Dhampir into a full vampire, I think a wise GM would save it towards the end of a campaign, give you those mechanical benefits and magical spells and all those things, and make it part of your story's conclusion.
Yeah, or I still want to say, unless you're playing like an epic level game, hey, go at it. Have fun.
Oh, yeah, well, heck, if you want to at that point, you can just pick a vampire at level 20.
Yeah, but anyway, should we go into the feats?
Let's do that.
All right, should I read the first feat?
Go right ahead.
All right. Level 1 feat, Eyes of the Night. You can see in the darkness as easily as a true vampire. You gain dark vision. And also, you can only take this feat at first level and can't retrain into or out of this feat.
So if you're like, GM, this feat sucks. I want it gone. Tough butt, my man. You're stuck with it. Yep. And let's be blunt. This feat sucks. And it only sucks for one reason. It says previously that this amazing thing made by this great company can just get dark vision if the other half of the ancestry would have low light vision.
Yeah.
So you can just get dark vision anyway for free.
Yeah.
You're good. This feat is great if you're half human, half Dhampir.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what to do with your first level ancestry feat. It's great for that. But if you are literally anything else, you're pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malice 1974.
I just had an idea of lizard folk Dhampir. Ooh, that might be a future one-shot character, maybe.
That does sound like that could be a lot of fun. Yeah, and Malice, you are right. You are exactly right. As I was kind of saying, I think we were on the same page at the same time. If you make a human Dhampir, the feat is good for that. But if you are literally any other combination of things, because I think a lot of things come with low light. Some come with dark light.
Yeah.
Dark vision. So, Eyes of the Night could be nice. If you are a human Dhampir, which honestly might be more common than like a dwarven Dhampir, but I digress.
Unless you're like a big fan of Magic the Gathering and the Homelands expansion, Baron Singer or Irene Singer. Just a little nerd drop there.
Ooh, I like that. I was thinking about like the vampire lords of Warhammer Fantasy. Where
yeah.
I forgot the name of where they're from, but that's such a fun, cool bit of lore. Next feats, and I like this one. Fangs. Your incisors have grown into true fangs, long, sharp, and well suited for drawing blood. You gain a Fangs unarmed attack that deals 1d6 piercing damage. Your Fangs are in the brawling group and have the grapple and unarmed traits.
Ooh.
That's amazing, especially, it makes sense to grapple. You're biting them, you're grappling them. But the fact that you now have a natural weapon that does 1d6 plus strength damage that grapples on contact.
Yeah. Dude,
that's awesome.
I would totally take this feat if I was a Dhampir monk. That would actually be cool.
Well, monks get this really cool animal stances that give them natural weapons, I believe up to a D10 of damage depending on the stance, D8, D10.
Yeah.
So I guess really at the end of the day it just gives more variety for a monk. So it's still really kind of
more
cool.
options.
Absolutely.
All right, the next one is. Why do I always get these words? Why do I always get these words?
I'm gonna try and put this because I believe this is either Russian or Romanian.
Yeah, let me try first, and then you correct me.
I will do my best.
Straveka. That's what I'm guessing. Level 1 feat, Straveka.
Straveka.
Chat, let us know if I'm butchering this or not.
Yes, please correct our Russian, possibly Romanian. Reap Psyche, great to see you in the chat, man. I was really hyped that you showed up because we were talking about variant ancestries, and we mentioned that they can be combined with other ancestries. So you could have like an Azamar rat folk or a tiefling shuni if you want a double dog or a holy rat.
Ooh, yeah. By the way, Straveka, you descend from one of the truly ancient vampires, a Nosferatu, cursed to eternal life but not eternal youth. People call you Straveka, or Ancient Born. The vestige of your forebearers' powers of domination has left you an understanding of how a creature's intention changes its behavior. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to perception checks, to sense motive, and perception DCs against attempts to lie to you. So, yeah, you're... Actually, if anything, you're more of the Bram Stoker Dracula, I kind of want to say. Like, you're charming, you know how to navigate diplomacy and all that.
What I like about this is great for character builds that either want to compensate for lack of roleplay utility by having this ability, or enhances roleplay ability by making it more powerful at level 1. Because like let me post this in the chat. I was talking to Maynard about how a natural attack that grapples automatically can be extremely powerful at level 1, especially for monks and barbarians. And if you're a barbarian, generally speaking, but not always, your skill list may suffer roleplay great abilities. This can compensate for that.
Yeah.
And if you're a Dhampir bard, which that idea is terrifying, but if you're a Dhampir bard, now you're better at like knowing your audience and manipulating your audience, and that is kind of fun to think about.
Oh man, I'm now imagining like a Mozart or a Mozart Dhampir bard.
Oh God, who was Lestat?
Lestat, yeah, exactly. You're Lestat.
1,000% Lestat.
All
Oh
right,
gosh.
I'm glad you got the next word because this one you know what? Table flip, walking away.
This is what happens when you use Romanian and Russian. I'm gonna guess this is Svetocher. Or Svetocher. Yes, Svetocher. You were born to one of the Moroi. The Moroi? Probably.
Once again, I'm glad you got this one.
Here I go, butchering languages. The most common vampires, and you share their supernatural fortitude and power of persuasion. When you have the drained condition, by the way, I looked up in further detail, drain sucks. When you have the drained condition, calculate the penalty to your fortitude saves and your hit point reduction as though the condition was one value lower. You are trained in diplomacy. If you have automatically trained in it, you can choose a different skill of your choice. So drain is terrible because what drain does, let me see if I can give you the whole lowdown, is not only does it affect your saves and your skills, but also affects your HP. Here we go. Take a status penalty equal to your drained value on constitution-based checks, such as fortitude saves. Lose hit points equal to your level times multiplied by the drained value. And your maximum hit points are reduced by that same amount. So effectively speaking, you're taking the damage twice. When you regain hit points by resting for 8 hours, your drained value is only reduced by 1, but you don't immediately recover the lost HP. So remember last time we talked about the Oracle of Bones and how they just always had drain 1?
Yeah.
That means, and this is why Bones, oh God, Bones is so rough. That means for every level that you are now losing your maximum HP of your level by 1. And there's other things that they did that upped your drain value.
Oh.
So as you're upping your drain value, not only are you losing more and more on constitution-based checks and fortitude saves, but you're taking damage to your front end on how much damage you're taking, which is drained times your level, and then you're also taking damage on the back end to your maximum HP. So knowing how awful drained is, Savocher is nice because Savocher makes it so that you do not suffer as much drain. It's still a minimum of 1, though. That's not great. But from what I can tell, it's one of the few people who have a built-in resistance to drain. And hey, you're still diplomatic. So, yeah, cherry on top. Look at that.
There you go. All right, next one is Vampire Lore, another level 1 feat. You were raised by your vampire parent, or you invested substantial time and energy researching the secrets of your undead progenitors. You gain the trained proficiency rank in religion and society. If you would automatically become trained in one of those skills, from your background or class for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You also become trained in vampire lore. Not too bad. More skills, more options.
Yeah, and plus it's great for roleplay. Like if you do want to make yourself an Alucard character, you get yourself a human Dhampir, you get vampire lore, and now you can tell everyone what being a vampire is all about because you've lived it your entire life, you know?
Or once again, if you want to play a Lestat type character.
Yes. Vampire lore, yeah, Maynard said vampire lore might be the big draw for this. Yeah, because vampire lore is a hyper-specific and rare bit of lore. You know, you're not just going to, like, start off level 1 going, you know, I think I want to know vampire lore. Screw you, shut up, pick a new number, get back to the end of the queue. Like, you got to be a vampire to know the vampire stuff. And that's kind of a fun starting mechanic because you get to play Vampire Hunter G, you get to play Alucard, you get to play Blade. You now get to play all these awesome anti-vampires. And Lestat too.
Honestly, you could this would be a lore to get if you're also a vampire hunter or a monster hunter or something that specializes in vampires, like your
True.
Abraham Van Helsing.
True. Although I believe in the case of a non-Dhampir or non-vampire, getting vampire lore is much trickier,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have to get it via a feat. Or I love having special lore feats being granted with roleplay. So if you're like, I'm gonna spend like the next 10 years Buffy the Vampire Slayer style, like stabbing dummies and reading books. Here
Time
you
to find
go.
a watcher. Time to find a watcher.
You gotta find that watcher. All right, next up in the last ancestor feat for level 1,
It's
Voice of the Night.
Yep. Voice of the Night. You hear and understand the words of creatures you share the darkness with. You can ask questions of, retrieve answers from, and use diplomacy with bats, rats, and wolves. You also gain a +1 circumstance bonus to make an impression on such animals.
That's really cool. Lore and fluff wise, it gives you some fun stuff to do in a really cool world setting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to have your dark, spoopy vampire setting, this is a great way to continue asking questions, like getting aid while you're exploring and traveling. And plus, it gives you a bonus at level 1 to an animal handling check, which already I think is limited to maybe druids.
Really quick. Do you know what? Do you know what pops into my head? Because this actually happened in a recent game of mine. This was described. I'm now envisioning that one scene in King of the Hill where Bobby Hill is like talking to the raccoon. Like,
I love that.
And the raccoon is just cheering back. Like, obviously, you don't know how to talk to each other, but this is one of those feats like, what if you could? What if you could talk to a raccoon, or in this case, a rat or a bat or a wolf?
This also could be really cool if you do decide to be a druid or a ranger, or even take a certain ancestry feat that gives you, I wouldn't say a familiar, because you can talk telepathically to a familiar, but like an animal companion.
Yeah.
So like you can have a rat, bat, or wolf animal companion. You can send them off on like long sojourns to scouting, and when they come back, you can have a conversation with them about their recon. You can maybe even talk to other wolves and be like, hey, have you seen my pet wolf? What did he say to you? Or what did she say to you? Excellent. Awesome.
I still think you still have to chatter like Bobby Hill chattering like a raccoon. I just want to see that now.
I think the idea is much like Bram Stoker, where you just communicate like personally and maybe like a little bit of like commanding wise.
That's
but
no
yeah,
fun though.
So you can have like the trash panda vampire.
Yes. Yeah, trash panda vampire. You know what? Let's make that for our build a character, the trash panda vampire.
Yeah. Maynard and Malice are having a really good counterpoint here. Maynard was saying, like, if you're a Dhampir, you kind of have to take vampire lore because, like, it makes sense. You kind of have to have that knowledge, being that you're a vampire or part vampire, and it would kind of like it would feel weird not to. And then Malice is kind of saying, true, but it all depends on your character backstory, because, like, you could very easily play. I'm trying to think of a good pop culture example, but someone who is a vampire and raised their life really never knowing anything about it. They were removed. They were, bastards that were looked down upon by the vampires. So of course they were never taught anything, or maybe their parents overcompensated and tried really hard to push them into that non-vampire life. Yeah. So you never know. They can go both ways. 5th level ancestries. Oh, and this should be stated. Taking the Dhampir variant ancestry does not replace all of your ancestry feats from your main ancestry. What it does is it allows you to choose these. So now you're just getting more options for your ancestry selection and feat selection.
This is not good if there's someone like me who's making a decision like this is really, really tough.
Yeah. Now, I don't believe you can combine variant ancestries. Like, you can't be a Dhampir or Aasimar. I mean, it also just wouldn't work anyway, considering the bloodline. But because they're meant to be, like, Like let's say your human is whiskey, right?
Hmm.
You can take a whiskey neat. Some people like a whiskey neat, no matter what. It's nice and smooth and all around. Can't go wrong. Sometimes you want to like hit that with a mixer. Maybe you want to mix it with like another alcoholic beverage, and that's how you get half elves and half orcs. Or maybe you just want kind of a brand new, kind of fun and sugary sweet experience, and you mix it with Coke, whiskey and Coke. That's how you get a Dhampir.
Yeah, like you said, it's your main race is your main alcohol, and your variant heritage is your mixer.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, level 5.
Hmm.
Enthralling Allure. Zap Brannigan. The powers of domination employed by your progenitors have manifested in you as well. Once per day, you can cast Charm as a first level divine innate spell. So that's not bad. You get a Charm spell once per day for free. More magic, more fun.
Yeah.
Um, and this is great also, like if you are a class that relies on Charm, like a Bard, or maybe even have high charisma checks like a champion or a sorcerer, having this extra charm could be very, very useful for the role play.
Or
Necrom-
even I was gonna say even a summoner, or hell, even in my case, with my investigator, it would definitely be very useful in social situations.
oh yeah, especially with the investigator. That's a very, very good point. And
Hmm.
it's funny because you only do it once a day, so it would like you'd really have to choose the right
Yeah,
moment to charm him.
that's it's your ace in the hole. All right, the next one is necromantic physiology. Level 5 feet, your unusual physiology has developed in a way that makes it difficult for parasites and other infestations to prey upon you. You gain a +2 bonus to saves against disease.
Yeah, and this can be really good with a high fortitude bonus already,
Hmm.
depending on how you stat the character out. Diseases are extremely niche though,
Yeah.
and they can be a lot of fun as a GM to play with diseases because not only are they a great horrendous thing to put on a player mechanically wise, but they are so fun narratively because now it becomes this free inciting event. Like, oh gosh, I don't know. Let's say Woodward's got a bad case of like the fever death, and if
Hmm.
we don't like fix this in a week, he's gonna melt.
Yeah. Yeah. It basically it gives you like a ticking clock story hook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Um, Undead Slayer. This might go well with vampire lore. Uh, your knowledge of your own. I love the way they put this. Your own not quite living anatomy, combined with your experience in combat, helps you to take down undead foes with ease. Against undead creatures, you gain a circumstance bonus to damage with weapons and unarmed attacks equal to the number of weapon damage die for the strike. This bonus increases to double the number of weapon damage dice if your target is a vampire. So you want to be that vampire slayer, you want to be Alucard, Blade,
Yeah.
whatever. Vampire lore, undead slayer, boom, lock that up tight. Because it's just more free damage. Now, yes, it is niche. It is niche more damage, but considering the fact that your other choices at 5th level are also niche to a degree,
Hmm.
one free charm a day ain't quite niche, but necromantic physiology certainly is. The fact that you can do bonus damage equal to how many weapon damage dice you have. So if it's just a mundane weapon, that's still an extra 1 damage. If it's a magical weapon and there's like I think max of like 3 extra dice, then you can do up to 3 to 6 extra damage
Ooh,
on top of anything else. So
that's decent. That's decent.
hear me out with this madness. What if we make a human Dhampir swashbuckler Alucard endgame all that damage, all of it, as
Whew.
this character now has to fight and kill Big Daddy Dracula in Castle Belmont or Castle whatever castle he's living in. I forgot the name of it.
Castlevania.
In the Castlevania, yeah.
Yes.
Oh
The
man.
next one is a level 9 feat called Bloodletting Fangs. You emulate your vampiric parents' techniques for drawing blood from a victim. Your Fang strikes deal additional 1d4 persistent bleed damage on a critical hit. This is pretty good, but it's also, once again, pretty niche, I want to say. Because the extra damage only pops up when you get a critical hit.
True, although the one thing that we're kind of learning, watching Rufa in action on Edge of Legend, is that critting is no longer the difficult challenge it was in 5e and in other previous games where you only could crit on a 20. Now you can crit so long as you're getting 10 points above the armor class. So you at least have some flexibility.
Yeah.
So you can crit a little more reliably without having to crit fishing madness where you could crit with a rapier on a keen rapier on a 15 up. What I like about this is that it takes fangs, which is awesome because it gives you another weapon to add to your arsenal with a lot of really cool control to it. And now it makes it this awesome second level thing where for critting, you're doing 1d6 plus 1d4 persistent, just for that one time. And if you're critting, you're doubling the fangs of the original bite. You're adding all the enhancement bonuses from your strength. I may have to make a magical weapon that enhances natural attacks like claws and fangs, because that would be really good.
I just thought of this. Vampiric bling. The vampiric grills.
I love it. Oh man, but the thing is, it can't be holy. It can't be holy blessed, because if you do that, you're just gonna burn your face off on your grill.
But yeah, this is definitely this would actually be perfect for your Dhampir monk if you build a grapple character like that.
I can see that, or heck, I'd even go so far as to say a Dhampir barbarian.
Yeah.
I think which would be really interesting. Maynard, Malice says, yeah, unless your character does a lot of natural attacks, absolutely, and I love natural attacks, so I think we're definitely on the same page.
Dhampir magus, your fist magus.
So you can bite them and then inject a fireball into their body?
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah, or beast barbarians. Yeah, because beast barbarians transform and have other attacks. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be a beast barbarian. It could just be any barbarian, because that strength bonus and that damage bonus is going to be so good. Maynard, what the heck? What attack bonuses would those natural attacks be privy to? I believe the natural attacks, unless they are listed as finesse and agile, would be privy to strength for both hitting and damage. And that's why I'm saying a barbarian, because a barbarian already has to have a pretty high strength.
True.
And when they rage, all that becomes more powerful. And since it's not agile or finesse, it doesn't take any penalties for bonus damage. So let me see here. All it's traded as is being unarmed, brawling, and grapple. So that means if you rage with a barbarian Dhampir, your natural bite is going to be 1d6 plus a crap ton of damage on the back end. 1d4 extra for the crit, another d6 extra for the crit, and any other extra weapon dice for having a magical item that increases the bite.
Yeah. Maynard says, you don't get many strength-focused monks, I imagine. Not too many, but it is a possibility. And honestly, you could also go barbarian archetype monk or barbarian archetype martial artist.
True. You absolutely could. And this always kind of chapped my butt, the idea that you don't get strength-based monks, because in a lot of games you did. At 3.5 in Pathfinder First Edition, you absolutely had strength-based monks. There is just so many more defensive perks to having a dex-based monk. I need to look back into the monk, because I believe the monk is strength or dex as your main stat. And you can choose with their martial arts the ability to choose either for the damage. But I think the ultimate flaw is that a lot of their unarmed strikes are labeled as agile and finesse. So it really comes back into that balance of what do you want to do and how do you, because here's the thing, athletics is still based off strength. And if you want to play a grapple monk, then clearly you're going to kind of have to mid-max a bit and go for that high strength number.
Yeah. Malice says, if you had a monk Dhampir, you could do Fury of Bites.
Oh, you're right, Malice, and I love that. I love you for that. Yes, Flurry of Bites. Just Like you pick up your bat, you pick up your enemy in a grapple, and you just bite them like an ear of corn. Just
Yeah. All right.
Night magic.
Next up, night magic. Yeah.
You can tap into the magic that runs through your blood. You gain animal form, wolf only, using the statistics for a canine, and obscuring mist as a second level divine innate spell. You can cast each of these spells once per day. So this is really cool. If you did not invest in fangs before, obviously you won't get bloodletting fangs because you need that prerequisite. But night magic is awesome because you get 2 spells, 2 free bonus spells that allow you to hide, that blend in. It's great for roleplay. 2 of them free on top of everything else. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. It's an option for you if you're not playing a druid and you still want a wild shape ability.
Mm-hmm. And also it's great if you really, really love classic Bram Stoker lore. Because if you remember with Bram Stoker's Dracula, he turned into mist, he could turn into a wolf, he could turn into a lot of things.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a bat that we've seen kind of commonplace now is that, oh, vampires only turn into bats. And Bram Stoker's like, nah, son, my sucker's turning into everything. Get on my level.
Speaking of bats...
Yeah.
Thank you for that segue, by the way, PJ.
Yeah.
Feat for level 13 is called Form of the Bat. It's a 1 action ability that you can use once per hour. You can transform into a harmless bat. You gain the effects of a 4th level pest form, except you always transform into a bat.
Yeah. Now, a 4th level form is pretty darn good. That's not bad, especially if you want to give yourself more magical options. I just love the irony of going like, these guys don't need to turn into bats. They can turn into anything. They can turn into a bat. God. I don't know if I need more coffee or less coffee.
Yep. But this is a great ability for you to use if you want to like scout out the surrounding areas at night. Because honestly, seeing a bat during the day is kind of weird. I kind of just want to say that. Kind of weird to see a bat during the day, but at nighttime, perfect way to scout out an ambush, check out the enemy camp, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I believe a 4th level pest form spell does have certain benefits and characteristics beyond just turning into a pest of a certain CR. You get other traits as well. So look into that spell because that may be useful. And also, this is the only ancestry ability at 13th level. So what's great about this is it gives us great take it or leave it freedom. If you don't want to be a bat, that's cool. You don't have to. You're also part whatever the other thing is. So you take a really cool ancestry from like a dwarf at 13th level and go, I don't really feel the bat vibe. I like the wolf and mist better. I'm gonna get like a 13th level dwarf and get, I don't know, massive bonuses to crafting or massive resistance to fire.
Yeah. Maynard says, keep in mind the bat only has a 20-foot flying speed, which is probably less than anything that chases you after you, and you can fly. So you have to be careful.
Yeah. But it's one, and Malice continues to say it's once per hour as opposed to once per day. Yeah, that is correct. The caveat, this is once per hour, and it only takes 1 action. So in theory, not only can this be done once per hour, this can also be once per combat. So if you're in combat and you're like, I gotta Laszlo my bat form out of here, for whatever reason, you can do that. It has that flexibility. And yeah, because it's once per hour, as Malice mentioned, you have a ton of roleplay potential with this ability. But if you don't want that, or it doesn't quite feel right, again, don't worry. You have 2 lists of ancestries you can pull from, and it's very good.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up is your capstone for this variant heritage. Take it away, PJ.
Oh, thank you. 17th level, Symphony of Blood. This sounds metal as hell.
Sounds like a Castle. I think that is actually a Castlevania game title.
I want to say it's Symphony of the Night. Either way, awesome. It's very similar. Symphony of Blood. You call forth the blood of your foes to grant you vigor. Once per day, you can cast Vampiric Exsanguination as a 7th level divine innate spell. That's pretty good. You get a free spell that deals damage and heals you. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
That's really solid.
Do you want me to read what the spell does, or do you want
Yes,
to do it?
please. Oh
All
no,
right.
please read it.
Vampiric exsanguination. You draw the blood and life force of other creatures through your outstretched arms. You deal 12d6 negative damage to a living creature in the area. You gain temporarily hit points equal to half the damage a single creature takes from this spell. Calculate these temporary hit points using the creature that took the most damage. You lose any remaining temporary hit points after 1 minute. And if you heighten it 1, the damage increases by 2d6.
Now, I don't know if you can. Actually, you might be able to heighten it because it's an innate spell. So I'd imagine it'd be tied to your level, but you have to be level 20 to get that. But let's go from there. So what I love about this combination of things is that let's go back with my theory of a Dhampir barbarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
A great tank that's all about absorbing as much damage as possible and resisting some of that in the process. You now have a really terrific ability to drain a bunch of people in front of you and then get this fat stack of temp HP. Now, temp HP is kind of like, I can't think of an appropriate way to say this, so I'll just say it's a silver medal. It's not bad. It's really good. But sometimes you just need to be healed instead.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a fighter or a champion. But here's the thing about barbarians. When they rage, they get a damage resistance, right? So now you have 2 defensive capstones or 2 defensive shields working in tandem. So now you have a fat stack of HP. You have a pretty hefty DR. I'm thinking at level 17, probably around 8 DR, 8 or 10 DR, depending on your build. And then you have temp HP, factored in. So you're getting a DR 8 with what could be, with 12d6, my God. Probably, I'm guessing 15, 20 temp HP. That's amazing for a barbarian. Fighters and champions are going to be like, thanks, I guess. Like, it's nice, but not needed. But a barbarian's going to be like, yes, meat for the meat throne. Let's go.
All right. Well, that's, like I said before, that's the capstone of the Dhampir. Let's know what you think about the Dhampir class in the chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comment section.
Yes, absolutely. I'm seeing Maynard say that given to you here, you get it as a 7th level spell, so you have to cast it as 14d6 at least. Possibly. Yeah. Either way. That's 12 to 14d6 necrotic damage. What was the range of that again? Was it a cone or one single target?
I forgot.
Either way, it's free magic that I think would be amazing for barbarian.
And also, it's a magic it's a freebie. It's honestly a freebie.
Yeah, and Maynard did thank you for the correction. It is a cone AoE, so that's 12 to 14d6 in a cone, and then whoever takes the most damage, that's the amount of that's basically the factor for your temp HP on top of your DR, your high HP, and the fact that you're raging, and if you decide to get the bites, oh my God.
Oof. All right, let's go to the next versatile heritage, which is Tiefling.
Do you want to read the Tiefling lore?
Sure. When the influence of a demon, devil, or other fiend infiltrates the bloodline of a mortal family, Tieflings are the inevitable result. Tieflings carry the sinister mark of the fiendish planes upon their flesh, and their specific abilities and physical qualities vary according to their heritage. Hellspawn are those who descend from devils, Grimspawn hail from demonic influences, and Pipborn bear the influence of demons. Though these are the only 3 most common among a wide variety of Tiefling lineages. Generations might pass between a fiend's direct influence and the time a Tiefling child is born. For those born to ignorant or fearful parents, childhood is particularly hard, but even those whose family accept and nurture them face fear and prejudice from society as a whole. In some cases, the rejection encourages a tiefling to embrace the evil within their heritage, though others carve a place and live a fulfilling life despite the challenges facing them. If you want a character who is supernaturally influenced by sinister forces, might have a unique appearance, and can fit the role of a complicated or unexpected hero, you should play a tiefling, aka Hellboy.
Yep, absolutely. I've always loved tieflings, and I love now that they've become more flexible, because before, when they were just their own thing, it always kind of heavily hinted that to be a tiefling meant you're always part human.
Yeah.
And it kind of continued this really weird idea that humans are like the typo of the reproductive pool. You know, it's like, oh man, humans get around, they bang everything. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
I mean, the humans do bang a lot of things.
That we do. But I love that they give you a lot of different descriptions of your tiefling heritage to choose from, and kind of like a society, alignment, and religion, lifestyle. Because I kind of feel like with other usages of tiefling, they stop becoming flexible and really end up becoming kind of binary. You're either like dark side, embrace the evil, or this horrible Disney princess of like, no, I must become better than that. And that's boring. Granted, it's great for a player, because taking extremes is the easiest way to flesh out who you are. But we'll all see what happens come like game 40 when this person's just been one static extreme. It's like, oh my God, This is painful. Please find some subtlety and nuance to your character.
Oh, definitely. Oh, really quick. Hey, Pengu-chan, welcome to the stream. And see. Oh, Maynard says, I like the Dhampir overall as an idea. I think some of the benefits are too niche, but with the ability to pick and choose which feats to take, you can kind of just be the barbarian that bites people for a while until suddenly you turn into a bat and blow a cone of negative energy.
Yeah, they get some really niche but really fun powers that can be used, I think, dramatically. And being one of the few ancestries that have the easiest access, and that's what's important to say here, the easiest access to vampire lore is truly a powerful thing, because vampire lore is so hard to come by. You're going to have to take a feat, take a lot of time training in character for your downtimes, or maybe if you're lucky, you get that one class whose specialized lore is undead, and then maybe you can argue about vampire. But
yeah,
vampire, they've done a good job of making it not another flavor of zombie. It's now like this whole other multiplanar powerhouse within the undead caste system. So I can kind of see why this lore would be so powerful and juicy. Especially at level 1, mind you.
Yeah.
At level 1, you know all the secrets. Like, no one else would know this.
But anyway, about the tiefling abilities, really quick also, make note, I got my tiefling horns on, as usual. All right, the tiefling heritage abilities are: you descend from fiends or bear the mark of fiendish realms, manifesting as some unusual features that belies your heritage, such as horns or a tail. You gain the tiefling trait in addition to the traits from your ancestry. You also gain low light vision or gain dark vision if your ancestry already has a low light vision. You can choose from the tiefling feats and feats from your ancestry whenever you gain a ancestry feat.
Yep. So once again, we have low light vision, dark vision if the other ancestry already has low light. Let's see here. That seems to be the big draw. I think the Dhampir came with more stuff, although one was kind of a detriment, to be honest. But let's see what the feats are. I'm curious what cool tiefling feats we can get.
All right, start us off with the first one.
Fiendish eyes. Basically, you get dark vision. Again, this is one of those situations where, because you already have low light, if your other ancestry is a human, which is nice, great for humans, you don't get dark vision. Now you do.
All right. Next up is Fiendish Lore. You are raised by a tiefling or a fiendish relative, or you devoted yourself to researching the secrets of the fiendish realms. You gain the trained proficiency rank in intimidation and religion. If you would automatically become trained in one of those feats from your background or class, for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You also become trained in a lore skill related to the fiendish plane from which you trace your lineage. Usually Abaddon lore, Abyss lore, or Hell lore. I actually like
Once.
this. I actually,
Oh no, continue, Michael. I'm sorry.
I actually like this because intimidation is actually a really useful skill just to have, and as well as religion. And usually, I don't know, like a lot of games usually kind of dip into the whole demonic or fiendish lore in some way at some point. So the lore could be very helpful as well.
I'm confirming with Malice. Malice in the chat came out and said that I would imagine Vampire and Prey Proxy, all these hyper-specific, oh gosh, hellish lore, Abaddon, Abyss, or Hell, that these lores are lores that can be selected anyway when you are making your character. You select the lore skill, you can choose these from like beginning in the book. So that if that's true, that does kind of take away, I think, some of the weight and value of this knowledge. However, while it may make it more mundane and less kind of exciting or rare, it still provides you with a feat that gives you access to 3 skill checks. Mm-hmm. So whether or not Vampire, Abaddon, Hell, and Abyssal lores are rare, it still gives you just more skill checks to make, and nothing wrong with more skills. Who doesn't like skills?
Honestly, especially lore, it's all in how you use it. Like, honestly, a prime example is how Rufa uses his legal lore as much as he can. Creative uses.
Very true. Like, anything is like, there's a phrase like, what good is your money if you don't spend it? What good is a lore check if you never use it? You know, if you're saving your skill checks for the right moment, then you're not using your skills. You use them. They are there for you to use.
Yeah. Don't wait for your moment. Make your moment.
Yes.
Right,
yes, and Malice did confirm. I just want to put this out there because I want to make sure that we are accurate and correct on this channel. Malice did confirm that, on page 247, when you're choosing a lore, that while there may be some, I guess you could say, special niche and fun lores, none of the lores are apparently off the table. If you want to take a lore vampire, you can just do that. But what taking vampiric lore and fiendish lore does is still give you the opportunity for 3 bonus skills. So take that with that reality. Mm-hmm. Next up, Form of the Fiend. I have a feeling this is going to be very similar to Fangs. Let's see what we got. Part of your body has an obvious fiendish appearance. Your hands end in razor-sharp claws. You have hooves instead of feet. Sharp teeth fill your mouth, or a whipping tail extends from your spine. You gain your choice of one of the following unarmed attacks. So one of these. The attack is the Brawling group and has a listed damage die and traits. Claws. 1d4 slashing, agile, fitness, unarmed, versatile, piercing. Hoof. 1d6 bludgeoning, finesse, unarmed. Jaws, 1d6 piercing, finesse, unarmed. Tail, 1d4 bludgeoning, agile, finesse, unarmed. You can only select this feat at first level, and you cannot retrain out of this feat, nor can you change the type of special weapon gained, of course, because it is your body. So this tells me that Form of the Fiend is really heavily focused on a dexterity build character. If you are making a Tiefling Barbarian choose Form of the Fiend, you may be a little let down by what it can do. But if you're going to make, say, a Tiefling Rogue, which is always classically good, you can easily benefit from these even when you have no weapons. Can you imagine sneak attacking with Jaws?
Yeah. And honestly, I actually like this versus how they present kind of aesthetically the Tiefling in other game systems, because this gives you more of a way to kind of modify and change how your character looks outwardly. Because I honestly, like in other game systems, if you're a Tiefling, you kind of all have like hooves, a tail, and horns. Honestly, all the demons and whatever in the hells or such, their appearance is so varied. Honestly, I cannot see their children born as tieflings all looking the same like this. This gives you, hey, my character has horns, or hey, my character have hooves or a tail, or etc. etc.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of cool because now it plays more. It's not just hashtag aesthetic. It's hashtag aesthetic.
Yeah. It essentially makes your character more unique.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up is Grimspawn. You want to tackle that one, Michael?
Sure. Grimspawn. Your lineage traces back to a daemon, one of the manifestations of horrific forms of death that devour souls within their foul home of Abaddon. As a result, you cling tenaciously to the last shreds of your own life force. You gain the Die Hard feat. What can I say? The Die Hard feat's good.
The Die Hard feat is very good. Getting a death of 5 instead of a death of 4 can make all the difference. It's weird though, because like, it's obviously a good feat when you've run out of feats at first level, right? So like being a human, you have to take the feat that lets you take another general feat. So maybe you're building a tank and you're running out of room for feats, but you're part tiefling and you have the greater fortitude abilities. You have the I forgot what it's called, fast recovery. You're like, man, but I really want Die Hard.
Yeah.
I'll just take it from the tiefling. Boom, free Die Hard.
And honestly, Die Hard, especially if you're a frontline fighter, you're kind of always going to be between almost dying and so good. That's kind of your home range when it comes to HP, because you're there, you're taking the hits.
Yeah, it's also great for retraining. Let's say you took I don't know, something else that you can retrain, maybe Hellspawn, which we'll get to later. And as you get higher levels, you're like, this doesn't really help me tank, or doesn't help me take hits in the front line, or whatever that I've built this character for. Then you can always retrain into Die Hard or into the Grimspawn feat, which gives you Die Hard down the road. So you're getting it later for free, which is still pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Take care of the Hellspawn, PJ.
All right. Hellspawn. Your lineage descends from devils, the conniving schemers of Hell's malevolent hierarchy. You're as skilled in noticing lies and twisting words as you are at constructing them. You are trained in deception and legal lore. If you're already trained in these, you can choose another one instead, and you get the Lie to Me skill feat. So now you get two skill trainings and the skill feat on top of all the other skill feats and skills you get at level 1. So if you really want to stack them up, this is great, especially for like a bard, investigator, whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah.
Malice says Agile just reduces the multi-attack penalty. That's true, it does. However, Agile and Finesse usually combine for a more Finesse alone combines for Dex build, because Finesse makes it so that's based off your dexterity instead of your strength. And a lot of times you're going to see Agile weapons on Finesse weapons. Now there are things that go against this rule, but like generally speaking, for example, all the natural weapons are either Finesse or Finesse and Agile. So it makes sense that you'd want to go with more of a Dex build and use that Agile bonus and your dexterity bonus.
Like Rufus Whip. It has both Finesse and Agile.
Yeah. Now that's to say you're stuck there. Malice is making some good points. If there's an Agile non-Finesse weapon, absolutely make that a strength character, because it's already taken from your strength. Yeah. But most times you see Finesse and Agile together. Not always, but most times.
All right. Next up is Nimble Hooves. Your legs end in hooves rather than feet. With joints and tendons that allow you to move with great haste, your speed increases by 5 feet. Special. The speed increase from this feat isn't cumulative with any speed increases from your ancestry feats, such as Nimble Elf.
So it would be like an either or
Yeah.
thing. You get the 5 feet from this, you get the 5 feet from another ancestry.
I mean, nimble hooves. You're it's great compare when you pair it with the monk class, which is all about movement, or the barbarian as well.
Very, very true. And who doesn't like movement? Who doesn't like stacking up a gigantic movement and then having, like, for example, the barbarian and the fighter both have this move where, and I'm sure there's other people that have it, but right now off the top of my head, I can just think of them. They have I think a 2-action ability where they can stride twice and attack. So you're getting 3 things for the cost of 2. If your base speed with this ability and other things is a 50, that means you can move 100 feet and strike.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's not bad. Take it away with Pipborn.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Malice is saying, so if you take this feat, he's asking, do you get the hoof attack as well? No, it's either or. So. You either get the hoof from form of the fiend, or you get the extra movement. But I'm sure later down the road, you can keep the fiend and then retrain another level 1 ability or something to get the nimble hooves. It'd be great to get both for once. Absolutely. Pitborn. Your blood bears the mark of a demon, a living embodiment of sin from the fetid depths of the abyss. Demonic power pulses through your veins and manifests in a different way for each Pitborn, whether you have webbed fingers and thrive in the water, large hands capable of wrestling larger foes, or some other manifestation. You are trained in athletics. If you're already trained in athletics, you become trained in something else. You also can gain any 1 common first-level skill feat with a prerequisite of trained in athletics, as reflects the manifestation of your abyssal blood. So
I like this. I like this.
I like it for the flexibility. It's interesting that it kind of pigeonholes you into athletics, but if you have a high-strength build and for some reason just didn't get athletics, you can, or you got athletics anyway and want a free skill, now you get the freedom of any other skill feat you want, as long as it's based on athletics. You can get Titan Grappler.
Yeah, you're essentially getting a free feat, and honestly, take this with Titan Wrestler.
Yeah. I was going to say, you get a free Titan Wrestler, and then at level 1, you can judo flip people, I think, your size or large. Man, I don't think you can do huge yet, but you can still flip guys, like, bigger than you for no problem.
Yeah. Next one is Fiendish Resistance. It's a level 5 feat. Your connection to your Fiendish forebears have granted you one of their resistance as well. Choose one of the following energy damage types: acid, cold, electricity, fire, or sonic. You gain resistance 5 to that damage type. Though you could choose any of these, the damage type typically matches a fiend associated to your bloodline. For example, a Hellspawn might choose resistance to fire, or a Pitborn with a Vok ancestor might choose resistance to electricity. Dude, resistance is always good. Especially if you kind of stack that with the Barbarian's resistance.
Yeah, oh my god, absolutely. Especially all the Barbarian resistances you can have. Pingu-chan, can VG use her hooves to kick Kaelrin? Absolutely, and she has. Not in secret, but in Arcana High. She's definitely bopped me a few times. Yeah, no, resistance is always great, especially if you're playing a tank build or even if you're squishy and want a little padding. Malicious Bane. Whether your heart is pure or corrupt, you can call forth a malediction upon your foes. You can cast Bane once per day as a first-level divine innate spell. Bane, I think Bane in Pathfinder 2 does like a -1 to like a lot of things, attacks and checks and saves.
I got it up. I got it up here. Bane.
Give me the full details.
Bane is a level 1 spell. 2 actions, somatic and verbal. Area of a 5-foot emulation and targets enemies in the area. Saving throw will and duration of 1 minute. You fill the minds of your enemies with doubt. Targets that fail their will save take a -1 status penalty to attack rolls as long as they are in the area. Once per turn, starting the turn after you cast Bane, you can use a single action which has a concentrate spell trait to increase the emulation's radius by 5 feet and force enemies in the area that weren't yet affected to attempt another saving throw. Bane can counteract Bless.
Yeah, so I really kind of like how Bane and Bless can actually cancel each other out. I think they can do it in 5e, but I like this better. So it's a -1 to attack only. I knew it was -1. I forgot what the massive list was because I think later you get debuff spells that affect a lot more than just attack. Still, very useful. At 5th level, maybe if you have someone else casting it, it might be better. But the fact that it's free,
Honestly,
nothing
if
wrong
you're
with free
playing
magic.
a Tiefling cleric,
Yeah,
honestly,
I mean,
Tiefling, any spellcaster.
yeah. Any spellcaster, yeah, but I think it's also kind of great for non-spellcasters because it's based off, I think because it's innate, it's based off your class DC. So if you are, let's just go barbarian, because we've been using that all day. If you go with a barbarian tiefling and you do malicious bane, you're now a little bit of a muscle wizard. You're flexing to bane your enemies.
Fist.
I cast fist in defense mode. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm curious what Skillful Tail does. You've always had a tail, but with practice, you learn to use it for more than signaling your mood. You can perform simple interact actions with your tail, such as opening an unlocked door. Your tail can perform actions that require fingers or significant manual dexterity, including any action that would require a check to accomplish. You can't use it to hold items. Skillful Tail sounds like you're using a feat for roleplay purposes.
Yeah.
And that's nice, but I'd rather use my feats to enhance. And instead of opening up some gimmick, I'd rather use it to actually impact my character.
Yeah, it's like a less. Honestly, it's a sucky version of Mage Hand.
Yeah, because at least Mage Hand can hold items up to up to 5, 10, 15
and it could
pounds,
actually,
whatever.
and also it could actually pick locks.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I thought for sure a Skillful Tail could pick a lock. Nope, because that requires a skill check. It can just open and close doors that are already unlocked.
Yeah, Maynard says this best. This feels like a trap for people who can't resist taking a tail feat. Yeah, I agree.
It is. Especially since, at level 1, you could take Form of the Fiend, get the tail weapon, and they're like, well, I want to enhance my tail weapon, and womp womp.
Yeah. Anyway, Daemon Magic, level 9 feat. You have to be a Grimspawn beforehand. The magic of Abaddon runs through your blood, and you can wield that power. You can cast Death Keel and False Life once per day as a 2nd level divine innate spell. Hey, that's not too bad. 2 spells.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, 2 spells at level 9, and I think one of them, both of them affect the enemy being recovered from a downed and dying position. That's not bad at all. Yeah. Also, big shout out to Wither King. Just saw you in the chat. Great to see you, Wither King. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. There's a Y in there, so I don't know if it's a big Y or a small Y. Love all the emojis, man. Thanks so much for joining us. So now we had Daemon Magic. Now it's time for Demon Magic. I guess the A is for Abyssal. Nope. The lack of A is for Abyssal. The A is for Abaddon. What are you going to do? Anyway, Demon Magic. Prerequisites. You chose the Pitborn feat. Oh, looks like we lost the... There we go, we're back. You can channel the power of the Abyss through your heritage, producing terrible, tangible effects. You cast Paranoia and Shatter, each once per day at 2nd level Divine Innate spells. Paranoia and Shatter are pretty darn good, so that's not bad to get that for free.
Shatter is really good. Actually, I think Shatter is one of those spells that's it doesn't get the. I'm blanking on what I was going to say. It doesn't get as much hype as it really should.
Yeah, I know. I think because in the past, Shatter only affected non-creature items in the space. So, it was great for destroying an area. I know in other editions they've changed it so that now Shatter actually has a damage to an enemy group, and they get better perks if the person's a construct or an organic thing. I need to check with the spell list for this, but I believe Shatter in this edition is similar in that, it's mostly for destroying an area of stuff, but it does have now benefits for attacking people as an attack spell.
Mm-hmm. All right, the next one is a level 9 feat called Devil Magic. Drawing on the infernal power of your sinister forebears, you mislead your foes with magical deception. You can cast invisibility and misdirection once per day as a second level divine spell. Seriously, just take this just for invisibility alone. Invisibility is just so useful in so many circumstances.
It's really good. And also, a level 9 bard, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
with invisibility and misdirection for free, really good. Or even better, oh my god, a tiefling rogue, level 9 tiefling rogue with invisibility and misdirection spells, when you absolutely positively have to drop a sneak attack on someone. Yes, that's so
definitely,
good.
definitely. All right, take it away with Fiendish Wings, PJ.
Ooh, Fiendish Wings. 2 actions, once per day, you can strain to call forth bat-like or otherwise fiendish wings from your back, similar in appearance to those of your fiendish ancestors. Once manifested, these wings remain for 10 minutes. You gain a fly speed equal to your land speed while you've manifested these wings. So, basically, for 10 minutes, once a day, 2 actions, you gain wings and you can move as fast as your movement is. It's nice. It can be nice for combat. It can be pretty good for roleplay. It is limited, though, so don't use it for, like, a long-term exploration. Other than that, it's not bad.
It's not bad. All right, next one is another level 9 feat called Light from Darkness. You battle the fiendish power within your nature and come out on top. Whenever you decide to do with your life for good or evil will be your choice and your choice alone. This struggle has granted you powerful resistance against the divine. You gain a +1 bonus to all saving throws against divine effects.
This is interesting. Obviously, having benefits against anything is always good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little small for level 9. You're
Yeah.
about halfway through with your character. And it's hyper-specific to divine. So I feel like in order for this to be its most usefulness, now obviously take it if you want to. Nothing is ever a bad choice if it's what you want. But I feel like in order for this to be really useful, you'd have to be playing an evil campaign where your enemies are like the good guys.
Yeah.
Or just a corrupt AF priest.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a very small story arc, unless he's the big
very
bad.
Niche. Very niche.
It's very niche. It's good, but it's
there's
hard to get the
honestly
full effect.
there's better feats. There's better feats.
Yeah, I think any of the magics from your bloodline will be more
Mm-hmm.
potent than Light from Darkness.
All right. Our next one is Fiendish Strikes. Take that away.
All right. Fiendish Strikes. I have Fiendish. I see what you're doing. We skipped Fiend's Door. But okay.
Sorry. You want to go Fiend's Door? Take Fiend's Door.
Sure, I'll take Fiend's Door. Like many fiends, you have the supernatural ability to teleport yourself to safety. Once per day, you can cast Dimension Door as a 5th level divine innate spell. You become Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And you get to Bamf once a day. It's not bad.
That's always good. All right, next one is Fiendish Strikes, level 13 feat. Your festering connection to the forces of evil infuses your weapons with deliberating malevolence, tearing down creatures of good with every attack. All your weapon and unarmed strikes deal 1 additional evil damage and have the evil and magical traits. I mean, at level 13 with this, yeah, you know what? More damage is always good, but just 1? Not that impressive. Not that impressive.
I think the big thing here, cause yeah, the +1 damage isn't great. It stacks with everything else, and that's nice, and it doubles on a crit. But the big thing here is that you now have a natural evil and magical trait to your attacks. So say you are a monk, or you're using Form of the Fiend, or you're literally using any natural weapon. Unless you have a whole bunch of magical items built on the unarmed or natural attack build, you're going to be limited to how those attacks can bypass damage resistance and other defensive abilities. This lets you bypass it.
PJ, I would kind of argue against that because at that level as a monk, you already do have like special class features that make your attacks magical and also bypass magical resistance.
True. However, they will not bypass evil. Well,
True.
things that are bypassable by evil,
Yeah.
which
Which is
now,
pretty niche.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like, it's cool and it's nice and it's handy, but I think we have to look at the reality that you're not going to be running into a bunch of fights where the guy you're fighting, the person you're fighting, I should say, or the creature, it has damage resistance this evil. Most time, if you're fighting an evil creature, you need good or lawful damage to bypass that damage resistance because they themselves are evil. So maybe if you're using this tiefling to say kill Azamar or renegade celestials, then yeah, maybe that's going to be useful. It really depends on the campaign that you're in.
All right. Next up is summon fiendish kin. Why don't you take that away, PJ?
All right. Prerequisites: any tiefling lineage feat. You have a deep connection to the fiendish realms, allowing you to summon a fiend matching your own lineage. Once per day, you can cast Summon Fiend at 5th level Divine Innate spell. The fiend you summon must match your own lineage. This can be really cool because you basically get a summon spell for free, and a demon of a 5th level spell is not a bad summon, especially when you're like, go die for us. They're expendable. And it's free.
Yeah.
So, it's not bad.
It's basically adding more meat shields for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or also giving you free... Honestly, one of my favorite things about summoning creatures and stuff, they give you... they help you grant flat-footed. They'll flank for you.
Yeah, also great. And a 5th level summon of a demon, maybe by the end of your level, like a level 20 game, that guy's not going to stand much of a chance at staying alive. But around 10th level, 13th level, when you get the spell, yeah, they're not going to be replacing a full character because no GM wants that. No GM wants you to summon another character sheet. Yeah. But it will at least be beneficial enough. They may survive 2 rounds, and by then, their job is done.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up is Fiendish Word, level 17 feet. You can call forth a blasphemous word from the fiendish realms to punish your foes. Once per day, you could cast Divine Decree as a 7th level Divine Innate spell. You must choose evil for the spell, and you can cast the spell regardless of whether you have a deity or what their alignment is. And really quick, let's see what Divine Decree does. It's a level 7 spell, and 2 actions, somatic and verbal, range of 40 feet, area of 40-foot emulation, saving throw of fortitude, and the duration varies. You utter a potent litany from your faith, a mandate that harms those who oppose your ideals. Choose an alignment your deity has, chaotic, good, or lawful. You can't cast a spell if you don't have a deity, or your deity is true neutral. The spell gains a trait of the alignment you choose. You deal 7d10 damage to creatures in the area. Each creature you must attempt a fortitude save. Creatures with a alignment that matches the one you choose are unaffected by the spell. Those that neither match nor oppose it treat the result of their saving throw as 1 degree better and don't suffer effects other than damage. That's good. Yeah. I don't know about you, but that's really good.
It can be good. Now, those in the chat, we're talking about how evil can destroy evil all the time. That's a really good point, by the way, King. My question is, because as a GM looking into the monster books as much as I can, I tend to see a lot of monsters, villains, enemies described as evil. So I'm wondering if a majority of them are evil, would this really be effective with the greater monster lexicon? Obviously, you have your neutrals, and your neutrals will be affected. You might have a few goods, archons and celestials like that. But I don't know, if you're in the chat, please hit us up in the chat. Do you think having an evil-based attack is really useful against most of the monster book, or is it great? Mm-hmm. That's just kind of my own problem with it.
PJ, I think we skipped one of the earlier feats that we need to talk about for the next feat. So, do you want to talk about Fiendish Wings?
Oh, we already did.
Oh, we already
did Fiendish Wings. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, looking at Divine Decree, there's also some other stuff that makes it very potent. So yeah, you do the 7d10 evil damage, which may or may not be useful depending on what you're fighting. But there is a Fortitude save that is Fortitude, yeah, Fortitude save that has another series of effects on top of the damage. A critical success, the target is unaffected. Success, the creature takes half the 7d10. A failure, they take the 7d10 and they're enfeebled 2 for 1 minute. That's what we could have kept in mind. And on a critical failure, it's double the 7d10, so 14d10. They're enfeebled for 1 minute, and on your home plane, a creature that critically fails is banished with the effect of a failed banishment save. A 10th level creature or lower must then attempt a will save. On a failure, it's paralyzed for 1 minute, and on a critical failure of that wisdom save, it dies. So maybe the issue here is not so much the 7d10 necrotic damage, although, however, taking 14d10 necrotic is nice. It really comes down to that forced will save on a 10th level or lower creature that could result in automatic death. Banishing them, and then they automatically die. That can be really nasty.
I would definitely say this is one of those spells where you don't cast it until you kind of whittle down their, give them debuffs to their will and fortitude saves first.
Mm-hmm.
You set it up and then you knock them down.
Yeah, and I think those are all really good strategies, especially since this is like a 40-foot area within a range of 40 feet AOE. So you could really take out a nice, maybe like lower level monsters, but CR 10 below. It's not even that low of a stat, really. Being a CR 10 creature is pretty powerful.
Yep. All right. You want to talk about Relentless Wings?
Yes. So for this one, you have to get Fiendish Wings before it. 2 actions for 10 minutes. You can fly once a day. At level 17, your wings are now a permanent part of your physiology. You gain the effects of Fiendish Wings at all times, rather than just once a day for 10 minutes. So it's an investment fee. If you really want the ability to fly at will all the time, then you're going to have to take Fiendish Wings at 9th level, then get to 17th level, some 8 levels down the road, and then you get them permanently. Now, it's great because you never have to worry about flying spells. You never have to worry about levitation magic. You can fly all the time.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder if it's really worth the 8-level investment to get to permanent flying. Who knows? Maybe it is.
Some people, for some people, it is. For some people, it is. I can honestly see this as your GTFO card.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see it be a GTFO card. Let's see. Whether King, our king is making some good questions. What if you are a chaotic good character with a class ability or abilities that offer lawful evil attacks? I break all outsiders with these hands. So catch me if you can. I love it. These hands, buy one, catch one, get 2 free.
I believe even if you're a chaotic good and you have lawful evil abilities, it's a lot like your Hellboy with the right hand of doom. It's you're making use of what you got. You may not necessarily be evil, but the origin of that ability definitely is.
Let's see here. Maynard says, could you just wait till a later level to take the prerequisite wing feat before taking the permanent wing feat, like a retraining? Looking at the words as written, you could retrain that feat later. So if you're say 13, if you don't like Fiend's Door, Fiendish Strikes, or Summon Demon, you could retrain Fiendish Wings at level 13.
Yeah.
And then 4 levels down the road, you can get Relentless Wings. So it's possible. It really depends on what you want. If you really, really want that flying ability.
This is one of those feats that you're basically planning out your entire character, and this is your final destination.
Yeah. So we were able to cover both the Dhampir and the Tiefling, and those are two of the really fun, spoopy things. I think there's some really cool builds you can do. I know obviously there's no like superior build.
Yeah.
I refuse. There's maybe the most like number crunchy efficient, but really it's whatever you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of a Dhampir barbarian because of all the strength-based grapple bites and all that fun stuff. And the more and more I'm thinking about it, I love the idea of a tiefling rogue or tiefling barbarian or tiefling bard, and using some of that innate tiefling magic to get sneak attacks off left and right could be really fun.
I think definitely a Dhampir barbarian or a Dhampir monk rogue would be really fun to play. And I also really love how the tiefling, you're not pigeonholed into this one type of tiefling that's very factory made. You could kind of create the tiefling you want. You can make a unique tiefling.
Absolutely. Well, the good thing is we're able to cover both of these ancestries, I feel like, in some really good depth. If you have any thoughts about these ancestries, please hit them in the chat. And when we put this on YouTube, please like and subscribe in the comment box and yell at us all you want. All right, and that was some of the spoopy content that Paizo has put out in the Advanced Player's Guide for the variant ancestries, with the Dhampir and the Tiefling, both fun and interesting choices that you can make. Some really cool builds and have a really scary time doing it, just in time for the month of October. So without further ado, we're going to have to tip our hats and say goodbye. Mr. Michael Powell, please tell them who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
I'm Michael Powell, and you can find me all over the internet, such as my Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. They're all at Mr. Kapow. That's MrKapao. Or you can follow me on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell does stuff, because I do a lot of stuff. Or you can also watch me on the Toyzilla Network channel on Twitch on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. for Toyzilla Live. It's a show where we talk about toys and nostalgia. Oh, by the way, I also have a new YouTube channel called Fantastic Tales of Adventure. It's my new TTRPG YouTube channel, and yeah, I think we have, I definitely know we have over 15 videos so far, so yeah, a lot of stuff to watch there. How about you, PJ?
Good question. Also go check this out because they're awesome. They do these crazy D&D stories, and they tell it to you, and they bring it to life through words. So go check it out. My name is PJ McGaw. You can find me everywhere on the internet at pj.mcgaw. When I'm not here with my man, Mr. Michael Powell, I am on Nat20 Productions as the GM of Edge of Legend. For the entire month of October, we're doing a series of really scary, spoopy one-shots. And last week we had our first episode. The only survivor with 1 HP was our man, Mr. Michael Powell, over here. So let's see if he can keep up the survival track, or if he's just going to get murdered. We won't know until we get there. So tune in Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this channel, to find out. Secret and live action roleplay. Normally on Fridays we do a game, but we're going to be dark the next 2 weekends as we participate in IndieCon. And I myself will be there 6 a.m. on a Tuesday, having fun, and then hopefully we can show you guys some more fun of that stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you love these ancestries and you get the Halloween flavor and use them at your game. And next time we'll see you the same Nat time, same Nat channel at the table.
Bye, guys.
Bye.